Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Have a look at these renders here. What do you think about these 3D models? Pretty detailed, right? You'd think maybe they're made in ZBrush or Blender or something like that, but these are in fact made by professional artists in a 3D VR sculpting software called Shapelab. It's something that you could actually run on a VR headset, and despite being something that isn't like on your traditional computer where you sit there with a mouse or a sculpting pad, the amount of detail that this tool offers you and the amount of control and features is absolutely astounding, and these examples here really go a far way in showing that that is the case. But here's the really awesome part. Shapelab are about to have one of their biggest sales yet with a 40% discount. Previously they did 30%, and this is going to be running from the 21st of December 10 AM through to the 4th of January 10 AM Pacific time. So this is something you're not going to want to miss. You're going to want to go to the description below. All of the appropriate links will be there to guide you guys to where you can purchase if you're interested in this really awesome deal. So make sure to check that out. Now let's get into the rest of the video. So this is going to be what this video is about. Talking about Shapelab, showing you how I use it, talking about some of the features, and I'll also quickly just mention how I'm running it specifically. I think there are a few different ways that you can run Shapelab, but I'm going to be using it through Steam. So it's actually going to be running on a computer, and then it's going to be sending it through to the Meta Quest 2, which is what I'm going to be sculpting with. So I'm going to be using my Meta Quest 2 and the controllers that come with it. And once you're on the store on the Meta Quest 2, you want to go and download the Steam VR app. You're also going to want to make sure that you connect your device to the same network that your computer is on. That'll allow the two to connect once you run the app on here and you run Steam on your computer. That's really important. So I'm now online on my Meta Quest 2. It's connected to the same network that my computer is connected to. And I'm now going to go into my apps here, and I'm going to go ahead and run the Steam link that I've downloaded on the Meta Quest 2. It is on my computer, and my computer is also online. So now it's just bringing up a little box that says to connect. Unfortunately, I can't show that bit here. I haven't figured that out, but it's just a little box that pops up. It says to connect. It shows the network name, and I'm going to go ahead and click connect. I can see all of my different apps on here in the Meta Quest that are on my computer that I've downloaded through Steam. I'm clicking here on Shapelab, and there's a launch option. I'm now going to click launch. On the computer, there's going to be this login box that pops up. I recommend you guys create an account. That's really important, has a lot of benefits. I'm just going to skip for now. This is a little bit simpler when making the tutorial. And now over here on my screen, you guys should actually be able to see whatever I'm seeing on the VR headset. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this back on. And now you guys should be able to see what I'm seeing as well. So you can see down here in the bottom corner, a video of myself holding the gear here in my hand with the headset on. And this is exactly what I'm seeing. And believe me, it looks a lot cooler in the VR headset. And here's what I'm going to be talking about now to you, how Shapelab works and some of the cool things you can do in it. So as you can see, in the Shapelabs, we have two controllers. In this case, it's the Meta Quest 2 controllers. And the one on my left here, this is the palette over here. So this is where you can go over and get your different brushes, different settings. We'll get to that in a bit. And then the one in the right hand here is going to be your actual brush. Now, let's just say, for example, you're left-handed and not right-handed. Well, in that situation, it's very simple. On the left over here, under the options, you can just click the options button, and it's going to come up with a whole bunch of different things here. You're going to go to the user preferences, and then under the hand dominance, you can go ahead and change it to the left. Now, obviously, mine being right-handed, I'm going to leave it at right hand. And you're going to see over here as well, while we're here, just quickly under there, you have the camera, and that's if you want to take a screenshot of anything that you're doing. Then under there, you have environments. Currently, I have this environment over here, but there's a whole bunch of different environments that you can actually choose from when you're sculpting, which is just a ton of fun. I'm going to go with this one here because I just think it looks really awesome. It's something really refreshing about this environment, right? Okay, so I'm going to quickly over here close up the options. So here are some of the main things to consider. First of all, we're going to start off with this sphere that comes in the default scene. Right, now let's say, for example, you want to use your sculpting brush and start sculpting. Well, how do you change the brushes? So you're going to come over here to your palette, and under this little shape of a tool over here, you can see there's all of these different little tools down on that option. So over here you can see we have a standard brush, a clay brush, an inflate, a smooth, a move, a tentacle. So these are very similar to a lot of the brushes you get in a lot of other sculpting software. They're very kind of standard types of brushes that are very common. But we're going to go here and grab the standard brush, right? This is always a really good one to get started with. And if you don't see all of these different options related to the brush, there should be a little triangle here. You can just point it at and click, and this little panel, the shelf, comes out like this. And that allows you to now come here with your brush, and then you can change things like the strength. So I would bump up the strength over here, and you can even mess around with the resolution. So I might bring that down a bit so it's not too intense. And then I can start over here sculpting on my sphere, which is really cool. But let's say you wanted some symmetry. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that. On this controller over here, just take the button, the little controller button to the side, and it undoes. And then what you can do, you can come here to the symmetry option. I'm going to go with X symmetry. And now, if I were to sculpt on one side, you can see over here that it shows on the other side. Now, if you wanted to see the actual plane over here, you can once again just go back to your options, and then go to your preferences, and then go down to show in, and you can go and turn on the symmetry plane. I've actually turned mine off. It should be on by default. For me, I just feel like that really gets into my face, and that's why I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. But now we're sculpting on the X mirror. So once again, let's just go back to our brushes over here by clicking on it there. You can see these are different brush options. I'm going to make sure we're just using the standard. So let's come over here. I'm going to over here push this little lever on the sculpt brush just up to grow the brush up. It's very easy. And then I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to drag out some topology over here. And I'm going to kind of just sculpt up here and just kind of make a little bit of a, just a little kind of like bringing it up here to add some volume. And up here I'm going to add what would be the top of the head. I'm just going to make a simple dragon. And then under here, by the way, to move around, there's this button over here on the side. I'm just pressing it in like the big side button. And that just allows me to tilt my hand and very quickly turn the work around, which is really awesome. So I'm just going to come down here, add a few strokes here, just adding some volume to it. And now I have kind of like the starting shape of what's going to be my dragon head. Now before we go any further, it's always important to save. So let's go over here, point at this little file here, and you can go save as. And for me, I'm going to go to my computer, I'm going to go to my desktop, and then I'm just going to come here and call it test, and I'm going to go save. So now we have our work saved, and we're going to go from here and turn this into a cool little dragon. Before we go any further, I'm going to come here and enable wireframe, just so I can see the density of the topology. And let's go ahead. Well, we've still got our standard brush here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of shape out where I want the eye to be. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go to the brush settings for that standard brush. I'm going to take the strength down a bit, and I'm actually going to take the resolution down as well, which is actually going to make it bigger in this sense. And what I'm going to do is just shrink my brush. And what I want to also do is come here and invert the brush just to get started with. And I'm going to make kind of like a hollow here, which is going to be kind of like a cavity for the eye. And you don't want to go too crazy, so I'm going to go back here. And then I'm going to go and turn off the inverse, and I'm just going to come here and kind of paint in a little bit, and then I'm going to shrink my brush, and then I'm just going to come here and kind of make a ridge like that, and then a ridge here at the bottom. I'm going to grab my move tool, just slightly adjust it a little bit like so, just kind of making what's going to be the start of the eye ridge. So, and then I'm going to get my standard brush again. I'm going to shrink it a little bit smaller. Then I come here to the front, make it even smaller, and I'm going to kind of start making what's going to be kind of like the nostrils in this area. Really simple to do. And then once again, I'm just going to go with that inverse, and I'm just going to make it even smaller. Just make a little bit of a cavity in there. Take it in like so. And I'm going to grab that move tool, scale it a little bit, and then just kind of make a little bit of a protrusion towards the front of the nose. I'll bring that in, and then maybe bring these nostrils up a bit, making a very kind of stylized kind of dragon. That's looking really cool.
Then I'm going to grab my smooth brush, and I'm also going to take the resolution on that smooth brush, turn it down a bit, and there we go, just smooth that out. Okay, that's starting to look pretty good. Let's move it out here a little bit, towards the top, and just over here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get the clay brush. I'm going to shrink it, and increase the strength, and I'm going to bring down the resolution quite a bit, and then I'm just going to maybe even bring it down even more, all the way down to 1. And then I'm going to come here with that clay brush. I'm just going to make a strip going around like so, all the way here to the front of the mouth. Definitely take that strength up a bit more, like so. Take the strength up even more. And I'm just making the upper profile of the lip, and maybe making some muscular parts here at the bottom, going across like that. And then also here at the bottom of the chin. And what I'm going to do is just get that smooth brush quickly, grow it a little bit, and just come over here and smooth it out a little bit. Maybe not quite as much. I'll take the resolution up. There we go, something like that. Just giving it some form. Okay, that's looking good. And now I'm going to get this brush over here, which is the pinch brush, one of my favorite brushes. I'm going to shrink this down, and at this point I'm going to turn off the wireframe. It's getting a little bit distracting for me. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to invert the pinch, like so, and then I'm just going to go along here, and then kind of come here and kind of make the lip of the dragon, shrink my brush down, come in here, kind of go all the way up, and into here like this. And then let's get our clay strips brush, grow it a little bit. I'm going to take the strength all the way up, which it is, and then I'm just going to make some muscles here in the jaw, like so. Let's give it some muscles over here with this brush. And then I'm going to come to the top of the head here, and I'm also just going to make some little protrusions here, kind of make it look like plating over here as well, a little bit over here, like that. Okay, that's looking really cool. And I'm going to give it a little bit of plating on the head, and then some plating that kind of comes here, kind of like a shell that wraps around the head, like that. And before I go too far, I want to make sure I'm not getting too dense with the topology, so I'm going to check my wireframe. And that's quite dense, but it's a really cool tool that I want to show you at this point. If your topology ever gets really intense like that, you can come over to this controller over here, you can go to your options, and then you can go to your mesh density, and then you can come over here and you can take down your resolution, and you can actually look at it real time as you're dragging it down. It gives you a preview. When you're happy, you can stop, and then you can go ahead and apply, which I'm going to do. And now it's taken that resolution down really cool. I think that is probably one of the coolest features. It's something that when I found it in here and I used it, I thought, wow, that is just really, really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly turn the wireframe off again. And you can see our dragon head is starting to take shape. We'll just progressively now add more details. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get I'll just stick with the clay strips brush here. I'm actually going to come and make some more detail towards the back here. And now just with the standard brush and a low resolution and a high strength, I'm just going to come here and just kind of make the back part of it over here. Like this, kind of add like a bit of a blade here. And then I'm just going to come and make the neck coming down here like this. And then before I go any further, there's a really cool tool I want to show you here. It's the tentacle tool. I'm going to grow it all the way really big and just drag this stuff out here like this. It's a really good way to add volume in this case. Oops, I'll go back, grab the wrong spot there. There we go. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get this brush over here called the Inflate. And then I'm just going to increase the strength on that. And then I'll inflate this mesh over here like this, inflate it at the back. That works really good for this sort of thing. Okay, now I'm just going to get my move tool over here, and then I'm just going to make some adjustments to the body. Okay, and I'll quickly grab my smooth brush and just smooth it out in a few places. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to that tentacle tool here. I'm going to come here to the top, and I'm going to make some kind of protrusions coming out here, like these nice big horns. I'm going to shrink it a little bit and just pull it out like so, and like so. Maybe that looks a bit weird. Maybe I'll just go for something like that.
I always think horns on a dragon look really cool. Maybe just one coming up like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my smooth tool, and I'm just going to smooth those ends out, and then over here just neaten it towards the ends. Like that. And here's where that inflate brush comes handy. You get these really thinned out pieces like so. You can go ahead and fix them up and then just finish off the smooth brush. So between the smooth brush and the inflate brush, it's really easy to make these sort of horns, protrusions coming out like so. Now I'm just going to get that move brush again. So I'm going to go ahead and grab it, and then I'm going to just go and just bring this jaw in here to bridge a little bit. Grow this, and I'm going to make some small adjustments here at the front to the nostrils. I'm going to bring them out just a little bit and make them a bit more plated. Maybe a bit more like this. There we go. And then I'm going to get that tentacle brush, and just for some extra flair, I'm just going to grab this bit here and just try and drag it out like so. And then just with that smooth brush, just smooth it out a little bit. And then I'm going to get the tentacle brush again and just sharpen it up a little bit like that. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. And now I'm going to get my standard brush. I'm going to come in nice and close here to the eye, and I'm going to come and kind of make a bit of a round here in there like that. And then I'm going to come even closer and make my brush as small as I can. You can actually grow the work piece. So I'm going to come here and just add in an eyelid, shrink it down even smaller, and then come in here and just make another eyelid coming in there like so. Make a bit of a ridge back here, and then grab that smooth brush, and then maybe smooth it out here. So you can see how easy it is to sculpt with this tool. I absolutely love it, and just in a few minutes now I've made this really cool looking dragon like so. And then one last thing I'm going to quickly do is get the clay brush, and I'm just going to come back here and add some plating in the back just to add some more detail like so. Maybe get that standard brush, take the strength down a bit, just adding some more detail to the body, and over here like that, and the back of the head. Okay, that's looking a lot better. I might just get that tentacle brush one more time, just add a little bit of detail. Maybe that's a bit too much. And then one last time with that tentacle brush, I'm just going to come in here and grab a little bit, bring it out like so, and then just get that smooth tool. Now that's looking pretty cool. And now we're going to talk about the paint feature here. So you can click on a paint tool. So for me, whenever it comes to painting, I'll always use something like Adobe Substance Painter. That's just my go-to application. But if you wanted to paint in here, I'll quickly show you. They do have a tool. So with this paintbrush tool here, you're going to come over here to the material properties, and you can click on it, and here you can very simply change your color. So I'm going to kind of go with a reddish kind of color, not too saturated, not too dark, not too light. And I'm going to grab that, and that's just going to be the base color that I'm going to paint onto my dragon here, like this. There we go. And maybe put it down here. You can grow the brush just like any other brush. Come in here, add it in the back, and then add some to this. It's looking pretty cool. And then you can go and change it to a different color. So I'm going to go with a bit of a lighter color here, a bit more saturated. I'm going to do the horns here. In fact, I might make them kind of like almost like a white, a bit of an off-white, like that. Then these little horns up here, like so, turning the work around. That's looking pretty cool. And then I'll grab these guys down here, give them the same kind of color. These guys over here. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to give it a darker color. I'm going to shrink my brush. I'm going to grow the workpiece, and then I'm just going to come in here and just paint that eye in there like that. And then I'm going to come with kind of like a darker kind of red. I'm just going to paint, maybe not that much, maybe a little less dark. Just going to paint around here, add a little bit more contrast in this area. And then just the lower jaw, I'll come in here and paint in there like that. In here, and towards the front of the dragon. And that's looking really good. But let's just say, for example, you wanted to change the actual material, like how it's rendering. You can go over with this controller here, you can click on the options. And this is everything related to this mesh we're sculpting here. And then you got the materials here. But this, we have the default PBR, but there's all these other ones you can choose from. There's like a matte cap one. There's like a glass. This is all these different ones you can choose from. I just prefer to stick with the default PBR. But yeah, that is how that works. It's really cool. So Shapelab allows you to be able to sculpt really easily, really efficient, in a very immersive way. And it allows you to quickly paint. And I just love how accessible everything is here. So yeah, this is great. Like, I can't tell you how much fun this is. Like, I've really enjoyed working with Shapelab, and you guys definitely should go in the description below while they've got the special on and have a go at this, especially if you have a VR headset lying around. This could be something that you're really going to enjoy. So make sure to always save as you go. Let's save this as a new version. Go ahead and save. So in conclusion, after using Shapelab, would I personally recommend it to people who like sculpting and 3D? And the answer is yes, I would. I'm actually really surprised how much I enjoyed using Shapelab, and I really actually look forward to where they're going to take it in the future, more features they're going to add. And I will say that I didn't even cover all the features in this tutorial. It would just get too long, but it is a really powerful tool, and I was just kind of getting some of the basic things out there just to show you how easy it is to use Shapelab. So remember, in the description below, they do have a 40% sale. It's a really big one. It's from the 21st of December all the way through to the 4th of January. 10 a.m. and it's going to be Pacific time, so keep that in mind. All of that is in the description if you guys want to check it out, and I'll see you next time.